Hello friends, welcome back to C Programming. I'm here again with a new topic today. So till now in the last part we have learned a lot about functions, where we learn what is a function basically, how is it used, what are its declarations, how does a function work and everything. You know a lot about it basically. So we knew in that we have seen how a function works, right? Like how there would be a function call and why the function calling there would be communication between each other functions. So basically because of the function call the working of the function takes place, right? So when a function in that there would be a function called and a function calling. So basically when a function is calling itself instead of calling another function, then that is said to be as recursive function. So here we are today there to learn about what is called as recursive functions. These recursive functions are one of the most important part of the functions, and with this recursive functions we will wind up our topic of functions, which is finished. So let's get started with recursion. What is its basic definition? Recursion is nothing but it would be said to be as a process or technique in which a function calls itself, as I've told you all, and it contains a statement within a body which calls the same function. So it is basically called a circular definition. Why is it called circular definition? Because in a circle, you start from a point and you come back at the same point, right? You come and end it at the same point. In the same way, in the function also, you give a function and then you call itself and you come back to that. So that is why it is called a circular function. And it in some ways you call it also repeating itself or self similar way. There are many names given to it. So this would be the basic syntax or structure of a recursive function, where you have void recursion, then recursion function calls itself int main, then recursion. You can see it's coming back to itself like a circle, so that is why it is called as recursion. And basically the C programming language supports recursion, but while using recursion we need to be very careful while defining the exit condition, because if we do not define the exit condition properly in recursive function, as we know it will be going round and round, right? So if it is not designed with a proper exit condition, the function will be roaming in itself only. That would be really difficult and that will form an infinite loop. We have learnt about loops, right? In C programming also we have, in Java also we have. Since you have learned in Java, I have not uploaded it. If you all want it, you all could just check it out in Java. It is really very similar. So in that way it would form infinite loops, and so that would be a recursion. With when we define it properly, it would be a proper recursion. So recursion functions are basically used to solve many mathematical problems. The basic example and the simple example which everyone use to explain a recursive function would be implementation of factorial and also Fibonacci series, and all these basically they make a program easily by using recursion function. So let's see that example and how does recursion work. As I've told you all, it is void recurse. See, you can see recursion takes place away, that it is coming back to this function first. This function takes place. So in this function what we have? Recursion. So it is coming back to this function, that is it is executing again this function, and then we have the main function where we have recursion. So it is coming back again to this. You can see it's going round and round from here to here, from here to here. Wherever it is starting from the starting point, it is going round and it's coming back to the starting point again. So this is how a recursion function works. And there is a program to explain the recursive function more easily, that I have told you all, factorial. So let's understand what a factorial is. Basically, let me explain what do you mean by factorial. Factorial is nothing but, if you take an example of factorial of 5, that means you need to multiply the numbers from 5 to backwards till 1. That is, if it was 5 factorial, it would be 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. What would be the result? That would be the factorial of a particular number. So from that number backward till 1, that would be the factorial of a given number. So this is the basic definition of factorial. So let's see how to define a program to implement the factorial of a number. So as you can see, we have int factorial unsigned int I. This is a what type of function you are expecting. This is nothing but a function with parameters and with a particular return type. Okay, that is integer type. So we have an if condition that if I is less than or equal to 1, return 1. This condition is because here we are trying to, if a user gives suppose 0 factorial, basically 0 factorial is 1. We need to remember this condition. So if the number is less than or equal to 1, that if it was 0 or 1, the factorial would be 1. So we don't need to calculate for that, so we could directly write return 1. Then next, if a number was not, that next is else condition. So if it was not 1 and if it was greater than 1, then that time we return that number into factorial of I minus 1. So it takes, if you gave now 5, that would be 5 into factorial of 5 minus 1, that is into 4 factorial. Then again it would be 4 into 3 minus 1 factorial. Then it would be 3 into 2 minus 1 factorial. Then it would be 2 into 1 minus 1 factorial. In that way you would be able to calculate 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, that is nothing but 5 into 4 20, 20 into 3 60, 60 into 2 120. So that would be the factorial of a given number. Then next we have int main, that is I have declared already I equals to 5 over here. If you want, you can also ask the user to enter, but I have made things simple by just declaring a number as 5, and I want the factorial of the particular number 5 only. So printf factorial of percentage d is percentage d I factorial of 5. This means that we get a final statement that factorial of 5 is 120. And return 0, and after all this we just return 0. So this is the basic program of factorial. So the final output would be factorial of 5 is 120. See, you can see the working of it as I've told you all. It would be, as you can see this statement, I into factorial of 5 minus 1, right? So return 5 into factor of 4. Return 5 into factor of 4, that is nothing but here 5 into 4 into 3. So like that, in the second step 4 into factor of 3 takes place, 3 into, as you can see in that, I into factor of n minus 1 is there. So that is why in every step there would be a number decrease as you're multiplying. So the final answer would be 120. So now let's have, as I tell you all, for every concept after we learn, it is very essential to learn the advantages and disadvantages. The basic thing is, see, when we learn the advantages and disadvantage, when we know its proper uses, then we could understand where to use that particular concept and how much profitable will it be and how much loss will it give us when you're writing a particular program for a company, right? So that time these advantages and disadvantages now we can take light, but they will be really helpful to us when we are trying to design a particular program for a particular factory, in keeping their mind in our mind their profits and losses. So that is why I really stress upon advantages and disadvantages. Now let's see the advantages of these. That is nothing but it basically solves a problem in the most general way. As you can see, it is very simple as it is calling itself, and because of the function calling itself, we do not write to any other function, so that basically decreases the length of the program, and the length of the program is decreased. Basically the space is decreased, the time complexity, all these also reduces. So all these complexity problems would be removed, and it is more useful as it is natural. A problem is naturally recursive, and for some problems it is easy to understand using recursion. See, instead of writing a long program, when you write a small program, even the user can understand it easily, and he can also understanding that concept, he could also write more better concepts. Then next would be the disadvantages. The disadvantages would be, as you can see, it is calling itself. So due to that, there would be when you're writing this, placing it in a stack when the computer is using it, that time one on the another, like that. If you're placing one on top of the another, then that would lead to overlapping. When you're trying to overlap, that would obviously reduce the speed of it, and this also causes overhead since it is using function calls, and they can create stack overflow as it is placing on one top of the other. That obviously leads to stack overflow. See, when you're placing one suitcase above the other like that, when you're doing it, at some point it would obviously fall, right? So that is what will happen over here. And this, when you're not giving an exit condition, as I've told you, exit condition is also necessary, and when you're not giving that exit condition also, that creates another loop again. So all these unnecessary things come when a user is not writing a program properly, and due to this large number of recursive calls, it also causes an out of memory exception. All these are the drawbacks of it, but there are many uses. I hope you all understand all these. Thank you everyone for watching my video. If you really like my video, please rate me up accordingly, and just follow the upper link to get notifications regarding my videos. And if you all have any doubts regarding this, and if you all have any suggestions, please do comment. You all are really free. I would really love to read your comments.